Hi guys, hope everybody's well. Happy new week. Hope everybody had a nice, restful, blessed weekend. I really wanted to start the week off on a positive, but I also want to start it off in truth. And so today I want to talk about the spirit of jealousy and envy, and that what you feed will grow. We live in a society that is so comfortable with hating, jealousy, and envy. And everyone talks about it. That person's a hater, this one's jealous. And sometimes it is thrown around and misused. But because it's the unseen for the most part, like, don't get me wrong, there are some unhinged people that can't even, keep it under wraps. But for the most part, because it's unseen, it's an issue that we can sometimes overlook and sometimes not deal with, because from what we see, nobody knows that we're dealing with this issue, and therefore we decide that I'm gonna just carry on as I am. But I want to encourage you today to handle that. Handle that and take it to God, because it's going to completely hinder your faith walk, your spiritual journey, and everything above, because it's not something that will just go away on its own. Unless you handle it, it's not going to go away on its own. And I don't want to dehumanize it, because it's something we will all deal with at some point. All of us will deal with it, and multiple times along our life, along our journeys. And the reason why we often get into places of feeling a bit jealous or envious is because of our own inadequacies, our own shortfalls, what we haven't achieved yet. And so sometimes we'll watch others, but it will just sow that seed of jealousy and envy. And so, yes, it's normal. It's going to happen, but it's what you do with it that is key to how you're able to move forward. And if you don't deal with it, it's a seed that will continue to grow. And as it grows, it will manifest into all sorts. And once it does, you no longer have control of what that looks like. And it puts you in prime position to do Satan's work. Sometimes knowingly, but many times unknowingly. And so I want to encourage you today that when you do have those feelings, take it to God. Take it to God. We serve a kind God. He understands the world in which we live in, and he understands what we're up against. No, he doesn't want us to be of the world. So when we do find ourselves in these seasons of feeling a little bit less than, therefore it breeds the jealousy, it breeds the envy. Take it to him. Don't hide from it. Don't shy away from it and pretend it's not happening, because you're only fooling yourself. You're not fooling God. Remember, you might be able to fool the rest of the outside world, smile up and, hi babe, you're right. But if you're secretly hating on said person, you're not supporting them, but pretending you are showing up for them, or you are showing up for them, but you're doing it as a spectator as opposed to a supporter, it's going to eventually hinder you. And so I just want to encourage you to get to grips with that if you have felt that you have dealt with anything like that in this season. And it's a difficult message to swallow. I know, I get it, but I also know that it's an important message and it's something that we need to talk about more. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it's something that we all experience and we all go through. It's just that we don't talk about it, and because we don't, people shy away from it, people hide from it, but then it manifests further inside, and they become comfortable with it. They get up and they look at people's statuses or whatever, and they operate with that judgment of hate or envy because they are comfortable doing it, and for the most part it goes unseen. And I don't want to sit here like I'm holier art than thou. I have dealt with my own issues with it. For me, I think it was more comparison than actual jealousy or envy. But I think that it's equally as detrimental if not dealt with. You could probably call comparison, jealousy and envy's cousin on their dad's side, perhaps. So for me, it was comparison. And because I wasn't necessarily hating on the person, I didn't initially acknowledge it. But then a couple weeks later, after I'd had the thought of, well, why haven't I got mine? God showed me something about said, and it was the oddest thing, but it convicted my spirit because I realised where I'd gone wrong, and I realised where I hadn't even dealt with it. As much as he gave me that recognition and that conviction in my spirit to check myself, he also done it in a soft way that it didn't cost me. He gave me the ability to take heed and check myself so that it didn't cost me. And that's why I want to encourage you to handle it and take it before God before it does cost you, because it will. It will cost you your faith walk. It will cost you your journey. It will cost you your goals. It will block your blessings. And all that worship that you're doing in church, if you are not dealing with that, it's in vain. It's pointless. You might as well just give up and go and dance with the devil now. I'm telling you, because it's that real. And so I want you to, if you have dealt with that, if you have had feelings of that, like I said, don't beat yourself up for having the feeling, but don't ignore it either. Take it before God. Have a sit down with him and, discuss it. And I learned so much from that particular situation. Like I said, it hadn't manifested yet. And so I was able to deal with it, but I was able to not only check myself, but any further times I've had moments where I have slightly filtered into a slightly, kind of mindset, I've been able to go to God openly and honestly, knowing he's not judging because he knows I'm coming to him. And I promise when you do that, this talk that he has with you, it quickly, whatever it was, is removed. It's removed because he reminds you of your own blessings. He reminds you of the bigger picture and the promise, and you're able to shift your thinking. And the reality is, you don't know what anyone has paid or is paying for what they have. And I don't mean money, I mean in terms of cost, in terms of their struggle, what they've gone through, what they haven't gone through, what work they may have put in, or how further ahead with their faith walk that they might be than you. And that's okay. Get inspired from it. Get inspired from it, and don't be looking and watching and hating on the low in the hopes of getting your blessings too, because you're not going to get them, you're going to block them. And so it may be a harsh word to start the week on, but it's a real word because it's a real issue, and it's keeping us in bondage because it's normalized in the world. We live in a, very watch face, bad mind society, and it kind of goes back to my video at the end of last week about, having your tunnel vision and not watching face. But moving on from that, this is the seed that will grow if you don't check yourself and don't keep that tunnel vision and don't focus on yourself and serving others. Focusing so much on the bigger picture, the bigger blessing, can sometimes run us into the ground, sometimes run us into a heart of envy. And God can't bless that. God can't bless that. You can sing all the worship songs you want. You can turn up to all the events you want, blasting out prayers. If you are not dealing with these things, it's going to cost you. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because it's real. Know that there's no judgment, hence why I use myself as an example to give full transparency. And so not everyone's going to receive this word well, because it does step on toes a little bit in that it's just, it's a real thing. And you're going to get your people who say, nah, I'm not a jealous person. I never deal with it. I've never been jealous of anyone. I've got no reason. Okay, if you say so. But to those who really want to do the inner work, who really want to get right with God, who really want to get to the victory, but also be able to give God the glory and really receive all the blessings that he's got for you, take it to him. He's such a loving God. He's such a loving Father. This is when I saw his Father posture, the lack of judgment when I came to him in truth and honesty, and how he just poured into me so that I was able to shift and clean out any of that. And that's why, I call this channel Renew with Remy, because coming to him in open and honest dialogue has allowed him to do that renewing, that washing and cleansing of heart. That doesn't make us perfect, because none of us will be, But as and when we're stepping out, as and when we're doing things, we're doing it from the right energy and from the right place. And when we do trip up and stumble, when we do have those moments, we can take it to him and allow him to do the work within us. But yes, I hope everyone has a good week going forward. Do be mindful and do think about these things, and also be aware of who you've got around you that also is operating in jealousy and envy. But I will say this, because we all know those people. That's great, but don't deflect from your own work that you need to do with yourself. But yes, look after yourselves. Hope you have a good week, and we'll hopefully catch up soon. Take care. Bye.